Phil King is a sheep breeder in Central Hawke's Bay. He's a former president of the Royal Agricultural Society of New Zealand and recently retired after 18 years on the board of Smedley Training Station, the last 6 years as chairman. Phil and his daughter Julia work together to produce and market wool duvets under the brand name Trelawne Dorset. It's a vertically integrated family export business, adding considerable value to the unique qualities of the wool produced by the Poll Dorset breed. Phil tells us how the business came about and how it fits into the farm enterprise.
Trelawne Farm is a 850-acre property, flat, and we're currently using it as an arable and wintering dairy support block. It's made up of different soil types, some 450 acres of good soils and about 400 acres of pretty light shingle soils which are pretty unproductive and dry off very quickly. When we first came here 40 years ago, we just ran a traditional sheep and beef type operation, fat lambs and finishing lambs and a little bit of cropping. But as the industry's changed, we've gone more for the more intensive irrigated, a little bit of irrigation on crops of peas and barley and sweet corn and beans if we could get them, and possibly other more intensive, higher value crops. We're down now to the point where we've got 300 stud ewes and their lambs on the board, and that's all. We used to grow crossbred wool, and we used to grow quite a reasonable amount in the early days, and just like everyone else, but as the ewe flocks declined, we've got back to the point where the only wool we produce is this Poll Dorset wool. As we used to press this wool, I used to get frustrated because you're busy stuffing it into the bale and getting it tight and end up with a 120 kg bale. And so while I was doing that, I'm thinking there's got to be a way of capitalising on that high bulk, low weight. And duvets always interested me because I thought that was an opportunity that we could perhaps look at. But it wasn't until Julia left her permanent job and took on an online marketing business from home that we suggested that she look at the possibilities of exploring the manufacturing of duvets using our own wool. And so she did the legwork. It wasn't easy, I have to tell you. It was quite a difficult job, but she had the ability to find the right people and ended up with a product that the manufacturer said, "Oh, you've got a good product there." And since then we've been marketing them online. I've spoken to a lot of breeders, my contemporaries within the breed, and we've shown them the product and we've talked to them about it, and they're all quite interested in becoming involved, because it's nice as a grower of wool to know actually where your wool goes and what it's manufactured for. And if you can follow your wool through the market and to where it's going, that adds a new dimension from a wool grower's point of view. But we want to stick with Poll Dorset wool because of its characteristics and the fact that it's not got no black fibres, etc. And so I guess at the end of the day it'll be a matter of finding wool to meet the market demands. And like we've said, if we can get an export opportunity that's got real numbers involved, then we will be looking at either a supply chain or going into the market. What we've got here is an example of why the Poll Dorset fleece has got a point of difference for what we're trying to do with it. And if you look at that wool, how it's stacked on so thick, you can see it's a real handful. For carpeting, it's ideal because it retains its integrity, retains its bounce, and for what we're trying to do is ideal as well. The same thing, it retains its integrity. That wool will never go flat inside the duvet. On the carpet, it'll retain its bounce. So it's actually a real important part of it. Look at the meat in here. See, look at the loin in there. There's a big eye muscle in just in that area there. A big chop, and if you look at the hind quarter, see, she's got a very good hind quarter, and so you impact that onto an ordinary sheep, and you're going to get that genetic material coming through, which is going to give you a higher yielding carcass, faster growing. These things we wean them at up to 60 kgs, in 100 days. That's real fast growth rate. So they're actually a meat breed. They're a meat breed, but this characteristic is something which we've actually thinking, well, hang on, we can use this for something different.
I'd already started an online business selling bed linen and homeware, and Dad said to me, I think we need to look at doing something with my wool, because I think it would be a really good inner for a duvet. So a lot of phone calls, a lot of chats with people, because we'd never done anything like this before. We found somebody to make it, and we went through the process and got the wool scoured and had our first one made coming up 3 years ago. We've sent a container to America and they're selling. It's a hard market to enter, the American market. The New Zealand market, people are really responsive to a New Zealand made, New Zealand wool product, And essentially what we wanted to do when we started was we wanted to make a New Zealand wool product, New Zealand made, affordable for Kiwis. So we wanted Kiwis to be able to go, oh, I can have that on my bed. Online marketing's really hard work. You've kind of got to stick at it and keep going. But we made the decision not to go into retail stores because it would price our product higher than we wanted it to be. This is the scoured wool here, and then that gets a shrink-resistant treatment put on it and then sewn into this cotton. This is a winter one, and they're still really, really light. So, and that's what people like about them, they're light, but they've still got that wool inner which will keep you warm and give you breathability, and you know, wool's a fantastic product for regulating your body temperature. Dust mites are what often trigger asthma attacks, and dust mites don't like wool. They won't live in a wool environment. They are flame resistant and environmentally sustainable. So eventually, when you decide to get another one, which will be years and years, because this will last you years and years, it will go back into the earth and degrade. I'm incredibly proud of these. I grew up on the farm where the wool comes from, and have been living in Auckland for nearly 20 years. And for me to do something with a product from Mum and Dad's place is actually really cool.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.